All right, we're streaming live on YouTube. Okay, we're all set, Mayor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry I have some small difficulty with my video, but I do see everybody. So thank you for joining. I just wanted to reiterate that last 2 weeks ago, we were able to vaccinate about 1,000 people in our peninsula, which was great. And there's a doctor on Middle Neck Road who still gives the vaccines if anybody's interested. And the address was given. If we can possibly, I know the staff in the village know about this location, so if anyone's interested, you can definitely call and get more information. That said, I'm going to ask to start the meeting now. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
liberty and justice
with
for all.
justice for all.
Okay. So let's start. We're going to try to do anything we can before 8 o'clock, and then we'll see if we're going to continue with the new business, or we're going to go to the old business. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. The first item on the agenda is the Department of Public Works March 2021 report. I'm going to share my screen with you in just a moment. That was the end of the report. Anybody from the board has any questions for Mr. Massaro?
My question had to do with the trucks that you had the license plates removed. Can you explain like what you're using instead of those trucks?
Excuse me. We had ordered some new trucks. So we got the new bucket truck. We got a new dump truck in. And those trucks are just taken out of service now.
So they've been replaced, is that it?
They've been replaced, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And you guys have to deem them surplus so that we can get rid of them. The mayor and board has to deem them surplus. That's why I gave the list of the equipment.
Okay.
Any other questions? Or can we move to the next item?
Well, does the board deem those equipment surplusage by acceptance of this report?
Ellie?
Yeah, I wanted to see the equipment on Friday if possible, and then make a decision the following week.
Are we getting rid of these immediately, Louis, or?
I'd like to give it to the auctioneer and get rid of them. They're used to us now. We've replaced them.
Okay. So I think Ellie wants to take a look, so I wouldn't mind allowing him to take a look on Friday, which is 3 days from now, and then he's gonna let us know. And we can vote on it in the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
decision just by, I'm observing, I'll send you the report and we can agree to go ahead with it or not.
okay.
Would it be possible to have an inventory of the trucks that we have? Just, for,
Ready?
I'm sorry?
I have that already. If you want, like me, I could send you a list of it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, or can we move to the next item, please?
You can move to the next item.
The next item is the Building Department March 2021 report by Mr. Haramis.
Yes. So the building department took in $97,654 last month. We had building permit applications. We had 22. We issued 19 permits. We have 3 pending. We did 81 inspections. We had 31 complaints. All have been addressed or are still being investigated. And there were 20 violations issued.
Okay, busy month.
Very.
Good.
Any other questions, or can we go to the next item?
You can move to the next item, please.
The next item is a report for March 2021 from Nassau County Police Department related to the Village of Great Neck.
I'll just comment on this. I'm actually a little surprised that the police department only issued 30 moving violations in our village in all of March. I'd probably, if I had a badge, given out 20 of them on any given day. Only 2 parking tickets were issued by Nassau County Police. I would also add that there were 27, it looks like 27 accidents in the village. Only 1 resulted in bodily injury, which is a good thing. That was on March 20th. Not a good thing that anybody got hurt ever, but out of all these accidents, only 1 resulted in injury. And I have a feeling that the construction on Middle Neck Road had something to do with people slowing down.
I can't see, are they, do you have the addresses on these accidents?
Yeah, they're all there.
Can you, I don't know, I don't know why it's not, it was working before, right, great. Middle Neck Road, Preston, Middle Neck Road, Beach, Middle Neck Road, Old, Middle Neck Baker,
The top one, somebody fell asleep.
Roxton, Baker Hill. Okay,
That one on Middle Neck and Brokaw is where there were injuries. I think I drove by that one.
There were 2 injuries, actually, I believe.
But that could be anything, just anybody that was taken to the hospital. I don't think they were serious.
and Northern Boulevard is not ours, really.
Oh, that's correct.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So that 30,
So Terrace Circle is not us either. Terrace Circle on the East
I
Village
believe
Drive.
till here, it's the village, and then these are not in the village.
That's right.
Well, this is, but not these 4.
Warwick and Oxford is in the unincorporated, I think.
Could be. It's 7:55. We have 5 minutes to the budget hearing. Would you like to listen to the first request for the parade from
Yes,
Iran?
let's do that one.
Okay. Is the applicant on the call?
Yes, I am. Cyrus Nazmiel.
Go ahead, Mr. Nazmiel.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me once again. Mayor Brawl, I appreciate it. The last time we spoke, which was 2 weeks ago, you had asked me what charity I'll be donating to, and I have the answer for you. I will be donating and working with Moms Against Poverty, aka MAP, and they specifically focus on supporting children in impoverished regions of Iran. Their programs include supporting, renovating, equipping, and building schools, orphanages, and libraries. They're extremely well respected within the Iranian American community. MAP has had a valid OFAC license from the U.S. Treasury since 2010 and an NGO arm in Iran since then that implements our humanitarian agenda there. Projects identified, once again, impoverished communities, then supports them through building schools, orphan care via orphanages, hunger relief, and medical insurance initiatives. I'm planning on doing the event August 29th, which is a Sunday. And I'm happy to give you their contact information should you want to speak to them directly.
Please provide that to either Abraham or Brian. And when did you say the meeting is going to be held?
August 29th.
August
It's the
29th.
fourth Sunday in August, yes.
Okay. Any conflict that you guys can think of on that day?
Cyrus, is that going to be rain or shine, the event?
I'd like to think so, yes.
Okay.
This is the map of the walkathon. This route starting from here, it's in the village through.
That's Arundel and Hicks,
Yes,
right?
this is right. This is Arundel, so it starts from Arundel. This is where it's going to be in the village till it gets to East Shore Road. So it's basically Hicks and Arundel will be where the walkathon will be walking through the village. The rest of it would be in the village of Kings Point.
Okay.
And I have Kings Point's approval pending your approval.
Do you have an estimate of how many people will show up?
I do not, but I like to think somewhere around 100 people.
Okay.
Where is the starting point?
Kenilworth, which is where I live. And I'm speaking to the Kenilworth board to just let them know that there may be some cars and traffic on that day.
That's Kings Point.
A walkathon, or is it a car parade?
No, it is a walking and running. It's going to be an athletic environment. No cars.
Let me ask the board, do we think that there's any need for road closure, or?
Is there going to be police presence there though?
Was that a question for me?
Yes.
I was speaking to George Banville of the Kings Point Police, and he noted that there would be a police officer maybe tailing the event or at certain different checkpoints throughout the event, which I definitely think is probably a good idea.
Because I'm thinking just in case if you have more than 100 people, you go up to 200 people, you need a little more police presence in case there's traffic backup or jams or any issues with neighbors or whatnot. When you get the amount that you think you're going to have, just let the Kings Point Police know. And also just in case you need, any kind of a walkathon like that, with that kind of a size, the bigger it gets, the more police presence you need.
Correct. And I've been also working with Bob Lincoln, and he's done similar things as well. So he's working alongside me to make sure I do anything if as it gets larger and larger, which my goal is year over year for that to become the case, that the necessary steps are taken that make it as safe as possible.
Okay, all right, good. Just keep us posted. And,
Absolutely. I'll work side by side, and I will get in touch with Brian with the contact information from gentleman Bobak who works at MAP.
Is there a motion to approve the request, or is there any other questions from Mr. Nazmiel?
What time did we say it starts? I'm sorry.
To be determined, but I'm thinking early in the morning, 9 a.m.
Okay.
And how long do you expect this whole thing to take about?
3 hours maximum.
3 hours.
Yeah, but it looks like it'll be only about an hour in our village, maybe less.
If you're running the run, I do the run every Saturday morning. The run takes 50 minutes if you're running. If you're walking, it's going to take a little bit longer.
15 minutes?
50, 50.
Oh, wow, you're a fast runner. Okay.
I'll move to approve it.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Passed unanimous.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Good
I will make you guys proud.
Good, thank you.
luck, man.
Take care, everyone. Thank you again.
Mayor, would you like to move to continue the old business, or would you like to go to the public hearing?
I think public hearing.
Fine, that's fine. I don't know how many more old businesses we have left. if we can just do
Old
it.
business, we have 2, and then we have 5 or 6 items under new business. The new business should be very fast.
Okay, so let's do the new business.
Okay. The first item is a request for a refund of permit fees that were issued for property located at 4 Croydon Avenue. The gentleman called this afternoon, requested that this item be moved to the next business. So we're going to table that for tonight. The next item is a request to park in one of the parking lots of the village during the repairs to the parking lot for the building located at 720 Middle Neck Road. Is the applicant on the meeting?
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay. Ms. Kashanian submitted a request that they are doing repairs to the parking lot located at 720, and there might be between 15 to 20 cars that they need to park. They need a place to park. We advised the applicant that they have to present their request in front of the board. Possible locations that we mentioned are parking lot 2 or parking lot 5. I'm going to put the pictures up for both parking lots. Parking lot 5 is located behind the new village hall that's going to be built. The possible location will be against the wall here or against the wall here. And the other possibility would be parking lot number 2, which is next to the DPW across the street. There are parking spots available on the south side, and there are few on this side. There are 5 parking spots that are allocated to the police cars, but we have the rest of them available. There's no permit taken any of the parking lots on this side. We also advise the applicant that the board has previously deemed, for example, parking lot 7 that can be licensed to use for a fee. So we advise the applicant that if the board agrees, the board actually might ask for payment for issuing a permit.
This parking lot, this is parking lot 2.
No, this is 5, Mayor. This is 5. This is 2.
Right. So no, I was talking about actually this one. This currently being utilized.
There are no permits issued to park on this parking lot.
No, I'm not asking if there are issues permits issued, but I'm just saying, is this parking lot being utilized as much as parking lot 5?
there's only permitted parking in this parking lot. No one can just pulls up and park there, except for the 5. And this 5,
And there are no permit issued, right? So this parking lot is pretty much empty.
correct.
Okay. I don't see the applicant, but would the applicant be comfortable with this parking lot being allocated?
This is the parking lot across the street.
Yes.
First of all, I thank you for the opportunity to get any spots. And I don't have an issue with any of these parking lots, other than for the fact that some of our tenants are older, and I don't know how convenient it is for them to cross the street. I don't want to put them in harm's way. If there is any room in the first parking lot that you showed by the courtyard, that would be best.
Right. So I'm just thinking out loud, and I'll tell you why, because that parking lot, and I don't know how utilized that parking lot is. I know there are a bunch of businesses there that are utilizing the parking. So if we can possibly do some spots on parking lot 5 and some spots on parking lot 2, this way we're not going to burden that parking lot in number 5 significantly for the businesses not to be harmed. I think I hear your concern. I hear that you have some elderly, but I know that there are people that go to that place that don't want to cross the street either. So the board is okay. I'm okay. Louis, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to let you know that parking lot 5 has a gate that goes in to their property. Behind in parking lot
Right.
5, there's a gate that goes through to their property.
I believe it's here in the corner, no?
Not in that corner. In that corner. In that corner. In the other, yep, where you had the arrow.
Right here. Yeah.
Not
And you
that-
know, we would make sure that they do not park anywhere near the stores. I understand that you don't want to put these cars close to the stores. I don't want anyone business to get affected. So we would definitely, if approved, we would instruct the tenants to park all the way on the other side.
You're getting cut off.
Ms. Kashanian, we can't hear you.
It says here, but it doesn't let me.
Hello?
Yes,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Oh, I was just saying that we would instruct our tenants to park away from the retail stores.
But they still show up, even the retail stores use a lot of those spots sometimes. I mean,
We're talking about.
Mr. Shamian, how many cars are we talking? 17?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I asked how many cars were affected. You said 17?
Maximum of 20, most likely not 20, more like between 12 to 15. But I just want to be on the safe side and ask for the 20, just in case if everyone decides to, park there.
Let me ask you another question. From which date to which date are you asking?
We are asking from May 3rd for a period of 30 days.
30 days. Ooh, okay.
We will try to finish earlier, but about 30 days is what we'll need.
I mean, I definitely want that the area is not being fully utilized. I've seen that part of the parking lot not fully utilized, but and is there anyone who, Bart or Annie, I know you guys go there a lot. Do you see them a lot empty, or they're mostly?
I don't go there that often to see it, how it's used for the business at night.
Yeah, it's variable. I mean, Shiraz could have an event that,
That's the main driver of traffic there would be Shiraz and the pizzeria maybe.
Right, the gym and the offices, I don't think, I think the primary parking lot is during the day and so forth, but my concern would be if there was an event at Shiraz or something. But you're talking about 12 to 15 spots for
Yeah.
30 days.
It's a maximum of 20. So if we can do 10 on this side and 10 cross the street, I think this is going to take some burden off that parking lot. 5. And you can ask.
Louis,
Okay.
Louis,
Yep.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
What about the possibility of allowing overnight parking on the street for the month?
You're not gonna be able to sweep the street, and the street's in pretty bad condition because they're doing all that road work. And I don't know any given day on when they're gonna be making those tie-ins.
Right.
Right, I don't think you want people to park in the street.
No, not generally, but if it was for a month and we didn't.
I know, but if they're doing all those construction, they may have to get the cars moved anyway.
The front lot in front of the DPW is pretty much empty most of the time.
I know, but it's across the street and a little bit of a hike for some of the people maybe. So.
Maybe you can also let them park on the property that is going to be Village Hall also. There's a curb cut there.
For them to park on it?
Yeah, on the grass lot there.
I would be hesitant to do that. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't want any.
Anybody gets hurt there.
I would do 10 and 10.
So 10 across the street and 10 by the courtyard.
I feel more comfortable like that, and I would probably ask the board to opine on it also, but I think that's what I would feel more comfortable.
Okay, thank you for the consideration.
So we haven't voted yet on
We haven't voted yet. I'm just asking if we do anything, I think we should do 10 and 10, not to burden one lot. You guys are okay with it?
What's the condition of that Village Hall property, the future Village Hall property?
I can't hear you.
I'm asking the condition of the ground around that Village Hall. I mean, I see a lot of trees. It's not lit up.
It's not, yeah, it's not flat. It has some bumps on it, and it has grass on it.
Yeah, and it's not lit up.
There's a curb cut,
Okay.
but other than that, it's clean.
Right, except at night, if someone parks there, they can.
Correct. That could cause a problem, yes.
All right, I'd rather allow the 10 and 10. Yeah.
So I think if you put 10 here, and
So,
then
Mayor, would you like to give the 10 here,
on
over
the
here they
south
have,
side of lot 5, south side, all the way south. That's west.
these,
Isn't that south?
That's
Yeah.
that.
it is.
Right,
Brian,
so-
are these permanent parking or
Yeah,
these are the
no-
3-hour parking?
No, those spots are permanent parking, so the
Right, so that's why, Mayor, we have to either give it to this side or this side because this is a permitted parking.
And they're being the permitted parking that are being utilized or no?
we have some spots still available, but only like 3 spots empty that are not permitted. Doesn't mean that everybody who's bought a permit utilizes it or is there at the same time, but we do.
Fine, so you know what, then do the west side. And this way it's farthest from the businesses. So usually people don't want to park there.
So Mayor, that would be 10 spots here and 10 spot on the south side of parking lot 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a permit fee that you would like to put on it?
What is the permit fee that we have for other people? So you should do the same.
For the oh, sorry, man.
Go ahead.
For a 1 month permit fee, it's $20 for day and $20 for night. Is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, so a 1 month permit fee would be $20 per car per month. And usually that's either for overnight or for employee parking.
Okay. $20.
That would be 20 spots. times
24 hours, are you
$40.
talking $40?
Right, $40 times 20 times, yeah, 20 cars, $800.
Okay. I'm sorry, my internet cut out. Did I miss anything in the past minute regarding stickers? The last I heard was about.
No, not yet, not yet. We haven't discussed that.
Okay.
Does the board would like to consider that, or you would like to raise it or lower it?
I'm okay with it. It's if anybody wants to, I wouldn't lower it, but if anybody else wants to raise it, I'll be okay with that also. Anyone wants to make an opinion, any decisions?
I think it's fine if we're charging the same to other people, that, you know, the residents, they deserve it. Just the same $40 a day per car for the month, but it's not gonna exceed a month, is it?
No, it should
Or
not.
Okay, and if you can get out early, you will get out earlier, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
All right, so 10 spots, $800. Anyone would like to make a motion on that?
I'll move it.
Anyone would like to second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, indicating by
Aye.
saying
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Aye, okay, it's unanimous. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right,
I would like to go to the next item on the application for the peddler license. It's submitted. 1 second, let me just get it back to the agenda. It's the same gentleman that comes every year in front of the board, Mr. Ferraro. Mr. Ferraro, are you on the call? I don't think if he is, but it's the same gentleman that comes every year to ask for the permit. This is the application that he has submitted. This is his permit from Nassau County. This is a Nassau County Department of Health. They issued him a permit as well. This is gentleman's license. This is certificate of attestation of exemption for workers' comps because he is the sole proprietor. This is registration and insurance for the car, for the truck that he has. And this was the application for the peddlers that you just saw. This is liability insurance, as well as his truck insurance. Is there a motion to approve the guy to issue a peddler's permit for Mr. Ferraro?
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, was that a second?
Yeah, second. I'm sorry. I think that's a microphone issue.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Passed unanimous. Thank you.
Abraham,
next item-
you might want to update that permit. Not one person is on the board that's listed there.
Good point. I believe this is the same application that the gentleman
Yes.
uses year to year. That's why. That's
I
it.
think he just photocopies it and sends it in and we timestamp it.
That is what's going on. That is correct. The next item is a request for a street closure by the business owner at
that
Confidence.
thing is from, that letterhead's from what is it, 15 years ago?
More, it's from
11 years ago?
2001.
12 years ago?
2001.
I want royalties.
Oh,
Wait, why don't you
just-
just redo a new application? Why do you have to submit the same one over and over again?
I'll speak to him for next year. He should submit a correct one. The next item, as I mentioned, is the request to close the street on Beach Road for the street fair for May 16th with a rain day of 23rd. And it's from 2 to 6 p.m. I believe the applicant is online.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm actually going to request to change the timing because we've made some adjustments. I am here representing Destination Great Neck. And we had been on a call here, I believe a month ago, and Mayor Brawl had suggested that we contact the Great Neck Park District to do the fair on their park. However, the Park District does not allow the selling of any items on any of their premises. So we're back here asking to see if we can close Beach Road right from Middle Neck Road a little bit down to the apartment buildings. We would have some vendors that have jewelry, some with clothing, some with packaged foods. And it would just be something to promote the businesses that are in Great Neck.
Let me ask you, we are going to have our street fair, I hope, if the COVID dwindles the way it is. When are you planning on doing this?
We would like to do it May 16th with a rain date of May 23rd. However, the time I'd like to change to make it 11 to 4 p.m.
When are we putting on the calendar for the street fair?
June 13, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks after the 16th of May, or 3 weeks after the rain date.
If we do it. If, you know,
Correct.
there's a good chance that we don't do it. I spoke with the Park District today while we're on the subject. And they don't plan on having any concerts until later in the summer, maybe even August. So June might be too soon. So we'll have to see.
We are working with the Park District to have the first part of this event on their premises. It'll be at the Village Green. Sorry, I'm getting a little feedback. It'll be at the Village Green, and it'll be a fitness class. It's part of a line of different pop-up series that we are doing with Destination Great Neck, highlighting different businesses. So this second event will be highlighting my business, Confidence and Fitness. We're going to have a class. And then once that class is over, we'd like to move over onto Beach Road and host businesses that register in advance. They will bring their own tables and they will have their items up for sale on the tables.
Mayor, you are muted.
I'm sorry, I lost, I don't know what happened for a second, but just tell what happened last second, please.
I was just saying that this is part of a series of different events that Destination Great Neck will be hosting. This will be the second of our events, and we are going to start the event on the Village Green doing a fitness class, getting the permit from the Park District for that. And then we'd like to move over onto Beach Road, which is the border of the Village Green, and do our fair there.
Okay, I think it's a great idea to bring awareness to the businesses that exist. Do you know which businesses would like to participate?
We have had a number of businesses in the last couple of months contact us to be featured in something like this. I haven't put it out there, and I haven't given anyone the opportunity to actually register until I get the permit.
Okay.
Once we have that, then I will have an idea, but I don't think it should be a problem. Some of these businesses are businesses that are home-based. Some of them are online-based, and some of them are actual storefronts that may want to bring a table in just to bring awareness to them.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. If the board is inclined to vote for it, I think it's we should do whatever we can to make our businesses go live again.
Agreed. That's the purpose of our group. And we
A
are
quick question.
hoping, sure,
You changing the times from 11 to 5 instead of 2 to 6, correct? So
11
you
to
actually
4.
11 to 4. So you're actually adding 1 hour, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Just want to make sure that it gives you more time to what you need to do. I like the idea. I think
Well, I feel that the businesses, if they're going to put the time to come in and set up, I'd like to give them an opportunity. And the great thing about it is that it's in the old village. It'll give an opportunity for people to walk around. I'm hoping that they'll go to the restaurants. I'm hoping that they'll visit the other businesses as well.
That's a great idea. I think I like it. I like the idea. And the timing is better. It's better. It's better to get it started 11 o'clock than right starting 2 o'clock.
Yes,
Okay.
especially because I know that there is a Jewish holiday that starts that night.
Exactly.
And a few of the people that I had spoken to had mentioned to me that that might be an issue for them, and they would prefer to have it a little bit earlier so they can go home and get ready for the holiday.
Exactly. Perfect. Any other questions from anybody?
No, I think I definitely agree. Are we going to tally the vote?
There's a question from the public.
Yes.
You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Deanne Rafael, 107 Maple Street. I've got a question. Beach Road is pretty well chopped up at that down near Middle Neck. And I just wonder, I'm a little concerned about potholes and holes on the street with people being actually in the street.
This is not Middle Neck Road.
This is Beach.
On Beach Road, yes.
I'm talking about Beach. Beach is the corner of Beach and Middle Neck. Near the corner of Beach and Middle Neck.
But not Middle Neck, when the people are not walking on Middle Neck Road. It's just Beach.
Well, but it's Beach. There's big holes. There was a big hole in Beach. They filled in a couple days ago, and I mean, it's a mess. I'm just worried about people falling. That's all. I fell in Middle Neck once and broke my pelvis.
Ooh.
I'm just putting it out I'm just putting it out there. That's all I'm saying.
We'll ask DPW to look into it.
Mayor, I'm sure you could call,
Louis?
Mayor, I'm sure you could call the gas company and the water company. There was one big patch that was there that the gas company did come in. They filled it up pretty decent. I didn't look at the rest of the stuff, but either way, I'm sure the water company or the gas company will come out and make the next necessary corrections.
No,
They should be
take a look, and I asked the applicant to also let us know, when you actually make the final decision, if there are any areas that you believe could be tripping hazard. And I asked Louis to also take a look and call the gas and water company to make sure that they do the proper fixing.
I will walk the street tomorrow and check it out. I just want to know how far down we can go.
Well, we're gonna have to shut the road. Regardless, we're gonna have to shut the road off at
The section.
Maple.
Yeah, at the intersection, not Maple, not that far down.
Yeah, but people drive down there and get stuck and then they have to come back around. This happened a couple of weeks ago. It was closed
Yeah.
off.
No,
And
usually I put a sign down there, but I shut the road by the Park District.
Yeah.
When I have the crafts fair, I do a detour down by Maple
Yeah.
and I shut the road down at the park office. Willow Lane.
What,
Okay, so-
yeah, that would be actually perfect.
Yeah, if there's something at Willow, it's good, but there was nothing saying it was closed. We just got there and it was closed.
It's a very small road. I think that it's easy to get around. We're not asking for the entire road to be closed, just that section. I think up to Willow is perfect.
From Willow, and then I put barricades by the park office so that the cars can't come out onto the street over there. And then I
Yes.
put doors down further down the road.
Are we allowed, if this passes, will we be allowed to have some live music playing there?
And why not?
It's a rock band that I'm
Yeah.
proposing to play.
It's fine with me.
Okay.
Bart's favorite.
They're children's band and they are residents of Kings Point.
Oh, local band.
Local, yes. We're trying to be local with everything that we do.
Yeah, I think if Bart doesn't mind, then we should be okay.
Bart,
I give it the okay.
I think recently I'm Bart's favorite person.
I did that.
Abraham, you'll treat this as an event permit?
Okay, usually what we have done is we just voted on allowing to or instructing DPW to close the street for a certain hour. And that's how we passed it in the past.
But it's up to the board, but it would seem to fit the definitions of an event under chapter, what is it, 174. But it's not required. There's no real, as long as they have permission, it's a permit.
If you advise, we'll.
I do recommend that.
What about the other businesses and few houses that, will they be able to get in and out of their driveways and leave? Like, we're gonna have to make sure you don't block anybody's access, and you might have to have somebody looking out over there.
Is there?
We have one of the parking attendants.
Is there a way that we can, because it's funny, my son just came downstairs and asked me what's going on, and I told him that they want to close the street. And I said, what if there are handicapped people that want to walk and get home and they can't if you close the whole street? No,
they can walk.
Right, they can, well, they're handicapped and may not be able to walk, or, they have to use the wheelchair. The question is it okay to maybe, I don't know if you can close, you're asking for how many hours again?
11 to 4, 5 hours.
5 hours. And we cannot have, I don't think it's, no, I don't think it would be safe to just close one lane.
No, it's to be full street.
Okay, no, I think, listen, we've done it before.
Let's do it again.
I don't have an issue.
My suggestion is you had originally on there 2 to 6. And from my experience with the crafts fairs, they always run overtime. So I would ask for a little more time. I would say close it at 5 because it's probably going to end up closing at 6. If it's a nice day, they run overtime. That's just the way it works. I have yet to see one that hasn't.
So, I mean, we would advertise 11 to 4, but if we can keep it closed until 5, that would be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to clean up and gather the stuff and everything else. So yeah, of course, it's natural that you're gonna have an extra hour.
And what time can they start setting up?
When the road is closed.
Okay.
You can't put the road until, you can't put anything on the road until the barricades are up.
No problem.
Anyone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a mo-
I will move it.
Second?
Yeah, it was moved by Steve, seconded by Bart. Any discussion on this matter that we haven't had? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Unanimous. Good
Thank
luck.
you so much. I really appreciate it. And you are all invited to the fitness class first, especially Bart.
I don't need it.
Thank you very much. Very much
Thank you.
appreciated. I think
Thank
the
you, Michelle.
community is going to very much appreciate it as well.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Bye.
The next item on the agenda is a proposal for cleaning services for the village hall. So as you know, for the past year and month, Village Hall has been closed to the public starting this Monday. The Village Hall is open on a limited basis. We allow 2 people at a time at every window. Till now, we had one of the employees after hours clean the Village Hall. Again, it was not a big job because we didn't have the public coming in, but going forward, because the public now has access to the Village Hall, it would like to set up a professional cleaning services. We had this services previously, but again, we didn't need to have them on a continuous basis. Therefore, we stopped the service. We have requested for proposal we requested for a proposal. We got 3. The first one in front of you is from Jan Pro. The scope of the work is twice a week. One time is a deep cleaning that we do all the offices. The second time is one night in the week cleaning all the bathrooms and just cleaning the surfaces. Jan Pro also does cleaning for the Water Authority as well as the library in the Great Neck Peninsula. They are proposing $565 per month, which is comparable to what we were paying prior to COVID. This is the first proposal in front of you. The second one we received is from DeLuca Cleaning System. They are a little more complicated. You could see their proposal in front of you. They are offering $252 per week. That's the second proposal we have. It's comes out to about $1,000 per month. We negotiated down to $175, but that still would be closer to $700 per month. The last one that we received is from AJG. They have proposed for the same cleaning. The days would be twice a week, on Fridays, end of the day, and first thing Thursday in the morning. And their proposal is $260 per week, which comes out to a little above $1,000. So in front of you, you have all 3. First of all, I request that you approve one of them, and the most economical one sounds like to be the Jan Pro, and they have the opportunity also to clean other agencies in the neighborhood.
I vote for this one, Jan Pro.
Yeah. How do we tell which one does a good clean job? I mean, they can just tell us which are 560, but
So
those
we
lousy
asked
jobs.
we asked for references. Nancy in the office actually called both library and Water Authority regarding Jan Pro. They didn't have any complaints. DeLuca has been back and forth with them. They actually lowered the price, as I mentioned, to $175, but it still will go more expensive than what they have. They have other offers in front of us. And the other one, AJG, provided 3 references. The clean Village of Roslyn Estate, as well as the new Hyde Park. And they have been vouched by calling. We have vouched for, we have asked for references for all 3 of them.
If you compare each one of them side by side, which one gives us the best cleaning service beside the price? Is there one that's more than the other, or gives you a better service as cleaning wise, deeper cleaning or whatnot, or they're basically all the same?
From reading the proposal, I like Jan Pro the best. They have they came very professional. They came very, they have this system that they come with all the equipments. We don't need to provide anything for them. They come with all the equipments that they need, including all the cleaning supplies. The only thing that we need to provide is just like items like soaps and paper towels. That's the only thing that we need to provide. Everything else, they come with it. They have actually this very interesting system of, like, they have 4 different colors for different places that they clean. So, for example, the towel or the cloth that they use for cleaning the kitchen is not the same as they are cleaning the restrooms. So everything is like color coded and separated to make sure that there's no cross contamination. I found them to be.
I thought you said that they were requiring us to provide the paper towels and stuff.
Right, the paper towels, anything that we have to refill, it's our responsibility. But cloths and everything,
Toilet paper, soap, things like that.
Consumable.
Yeah.
Right, but anything like durable items like the vacuum cleaners itself, or
All right.
they'll provide
You
it.
have to provide them the cleaning material.
No, we do not. We do not.
So
They'll provide it.
okay, the paper towels, they clean the surfaces. Not obviously, based on what you're telling me, they're not cleaning the surfaces with paper towel.
They are not. They have their own cloth, and they use a
Okay.
color-coded system not to cross-contaminate from
The only
one
question
area to
I
different.
think this one is fine. My question is, this is on monthly basis.
Weekly basis. This is on weekly-
Or is it a contract? Is it a contract?
The contract is, it has to be an annual contract, and it is on, yes, the $565 that they are offering, or any one of them that they offer, is on a monthly basis. On a month, yes, that's a monthly amount that they offer. $565 per month.
Are you bound to any forms of contract with them, or you can actually?
It's an annual contract.
Can we cancel in 30? If we're not happy in 6 months, we don't need them.
I have to go back and ask them. We can postpone it till the next meeting, so I have answered to you all your questions.
Because this might be gone in 6 months, and what are we doing all this for?
Right. That's a question. I can go back, but that's why we did our
cancellation on either parts.
Sure, we'll go back and ask them for.
I say we approve it, subject to having a 30-day cancellation policy.
Abraham, if I may, I noticed that it was Wednesday. So if you could just alter, because that would conflict with court night, and we don't want cleaning people in on court nights.
No, so this would be actually after the court that they have to come, either Thursday morning or after the court on Wednesday night, because there will be foot traffic after the court. That's why they're coming either after hours on Wednesday, after hours, I mean, after the court, or Thursday morning before we start work, just to clean.
Right, because sometimes court goes.
The proposal calls for an annual contract that would automatically renew year to year unless one party gives 30 days notice in advance before the expiration of the first year or the second year, each year as it goes by. So there is no early termination clause in the document.
So that's what I'm, for an early termination, 30 days notice.
Right.
I can go back and ask them if they would put that in the contract.
You can, if you wish, approve the contract subject to that condition that it contain a 30-day cancellation clause.
That's it. Let's vote and move on.
May I suggest another possibility is just to do a 60-day clause, just to make it a little bit more enticing for them. That's up to you.
I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah,
That's
I'll do
fine.
that.
Okay.
So is there a motion to approve subject to a 60-day cancellation?
So move.
Yeah.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
Okay. All in favor indicating by saying aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. All right, next.
The next item is the fire alert fire contract for year 21-22. They're proposing the contract calls for $1,068,505. It's a actual 2% decrease or 16,500 from the prior year. Just put the contract up for your review. It's payable in 2 payments, like always, at the beginning of the year and in July. This is the contract. There's no material different from prior year. I'm going to mention this is just the fire contract. This is not the ambulance contract. That is a different contract that we have with Vigilance.
All right. This is the same contract we had before. I don't think anything changed. Except
No.
Okay.
We don't have much of a choice.
Well, they're doing a great job, and I would like to move to adopt this contract.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Trustee Sobel,
He may have to step away, so I think we're just going to vote us. And
Yeah, I'm here.
are you here? Oh.
Yeah. You can see me, I'm here.
I don't see.
Do
Okay.
I did it.
I see now. Okay.
all right.
All right.
Do you vote yes on it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Okay, it's passed unanimous. The last item on the new business is a resolution to allow appointment of election inspectors who live in the Nassau County rather than just in Village of Great Neck. We have had some issues in prior years of calling various inspectors to get them to come, especially this year with the expansion of the hours. Instead of having them from 12 to 9, this year we're having 7 in the morning till 9 at night. We might have an issue getting qualified inspectors. Therefore, this resolution would allow the village administration to appoint the board to appoint election inspectors that they live in Nassau County rather than they live within the Village of Great Neck.
So moved.
And to clarify for the public, you'd still be taking them off the Nassau County Board of Elections trained list. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
As always, we ask the Board of Election for the list. They provide it to us. We call them, we give them a short interview, and that's how we hire them.
All right.
Is there a motion to move? Is there a motion for such resolution?
I move it.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Passed unanimous. Mayor, would you like to go to the old business or the public hearing?
Public hearing.
I think public hearing. Let's choose the public hearing.
Okay. Peter, would you like to give the introduction?
Certainly. Very good. Bear with me just a second. I'm just pulling out my paperwork. Mayor, the budget hearing is a public hearing which needs to be opened and closed. The board is free to make any adjustments that it deems appropriate. And following the close of the public hearing, it's my understanding that the board may not elect to adopt the budget this evening, but is merely giving the public an opportunity to comment upon it so that the board can then make a determination about a final budget after having heard those public comments. Mayor, is there a motion to open up a public hearing on the budget?
I move it.
Second.
Mayor moved to open the public hearing, seconded. And is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor by signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, and the public hearing is opened unanimously. Mayor, at this point in time, it would be appropriate if you wish to hear the comments of the public on the proposed budget.
Okay. Anyone has any?
You wish to give a brief overview, or does someone want to give a brief overview of the amount of the budget?
Indicate very briefly on what we've done as far as the budget, the expenses, what the projection is, and possible changes in tax or the levy, which I believe is none. But if we can discuss those very briefly and then ask the public to opine, and then we'll move on.
Absolutely. Just going to share my screen in just a moment. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to go to that page that I would like to discuss it. There you go. There it is. So just 1 moment. There's so many pages I have open. This one I got lost in. Okay. Here it is. Mr. Mayor, as you can see in front of you, we have the tentative budget. Different various departments with various items on it. There is a proposal to increase the legislative and elected officials' salary. However, that has not been passed and it's been discussed. I understand that the mayor does not wish to increase the salaries at this moment. However, they are here as a tentative budget. On the judicial and the village justice, we have a decrease in the personal service. The total is actually decreased from 240,000 to 176,000. The major decrease is basically because we have less personnel in the village court. On the parking enforcement as well, the amount of the budget has decreased from 158,000, 159,000 to about 140,000. The major decrease is the purchase of equipment that was on the budget for this year and won't be on it for the next year. On the moving forward, on the clerk treasurer department, the major difference is the personal services. As we know now, we have a full-time deputy treasurer that was not on the budget last year, and this is on the budget this year, or it was actually on a part-time basis, and now it's on a full-time basis. The other difference is allocation of maintenance of the equipment and the maintenance of the software that has been moved from other departments. That was everything was in one bucket. Now it's allocated to various departments. Bank charges was also increased from 12,000 to 16,000. The reason for it is, number one, the bank that we're dealing with charges for the services that they provide to us, but we had an offset value for the balances that we kept. But unfortunately, because of a very low interest rate that now they provide, we have to have either a higher balances of cash, or we have to pay for the services that they provide. Other than that, moving on to the law staff, the amount of it has been moved from 180,000 to 200,000. The reason for it is to more realistically budget for the amount that we use. They're not much different in the election and the record management at this point. The major difference is in the village hall. There is a new line for the village hall building. There's a $2 million added to the budget. However, I want to caution the public that that $2 million does not affect the taxes in the village. In just a moment, I'll get to that calculation. I can assure you that the taxes will not be increased because of this budget line. Other than that, everything else in the village hall remains the same. Regarding the central garage, that is our mechanic department. It's almost the same as last year. The mail equipment, data processing, as you could see, it has decreased. The reason for it is all the IT equipment was centralized and charged to the same line. We decided to move it to every department should have their own IT line rather than putting everything into the same item. Regarding the insurance, comprehensive and umbrella, we have been doing very well. Our actual expenses have gone down. However, because of COVID, they have kept it the same amount that it has been. Therefore, the amount of the budget has remained the same. Every other item, basically, after that, for the general and government support has remained the same. Regarding the public safety, the only difference is in a hydrant rental that, as you know, they are doing construction and putting new hydrants throughout the village. The cost is passed on to us as well. Safety inspection, that's the building department. The amount of budget has gone down actually. The major difference in it is the equipment that was budgeted last year and it was purchased. The amount of the ambulance contract, it was 285. The budgeted amount is 300,000. However, we do not have a contract yet. We are waiting for a response back from Vigilant for their contract. The street administration, that number has to be updated. That number has to be updated by a few $1,000s, but there hasn't been that much change since last year, even if we include the few $1,000s to it. Street maintenance has been updated just for the COLA. Permanent improvement per request of Mr. Massaro has been moved from 20,000 to 25,000. Snow removal, we had a very good day in 2020. We didn't have that much snow. 2021, we had some snow. We are at 40,000. Per request of Mr. Massaro this year, it has been allocated $45,000 for it. Other than that, there's no other differences on that. Street lights, we have been doing very well. We are on the budget for that. The only difference that there is, I have added $5,000 for the maintenance of it. And this is just, it's not because I've mentioned this before. It's not because the lights are failing. It's because some of them, for example, the underground wires, sometimes they go bad and it has to be replaced. And that is the main cost to the village. No difference in a street off-street parking. Under economic assistance, we have had the newsletter printed. We'd like to have better and more newsletter printed. That's why there's a $10,000 budget added there. Under the general environment, there's no different. Refuse and garbage has been updated to include COLA for under the personal services. Street cleaning remained the same, as well as the rest of the items. When it comes to employee, some of the employee benefits, we have done very well under the workers' compensation year over year. The number has gone down. Last year we had budgeted 220. This year we have budgeted 200. The reason for the big difference is every time that there was an incident, we used to report it right away to the workers' comp, and that would increase our loss ratio. What we did was about 3 years ago, we decided to send the employee to a nearest walk-in emergency room or a walk-in like a CDMD or any of those urgent cares, and then notify the our carrier for workers' comp. So they do have a note of it, and if the issue escalates, that's when we actually go back to them, and they'll be responsible to pay any damages or any monetary value that they have to pay. However, most of the injuries is usually a small bruise, or it could be minor injuries that if the village pays out of the budget, it would actually, in the long run, would help us with the insurance premium. That's why our insurance have been coming down year over year. They're doing very well in that department. However, you could see I have allocated $12,000 for the self-insured workers' compensation. That is to pay for urgent care when an employee gets injured on the job, but they can return within a day or two. Unemployment insurance, we are self-insured. We have depleted almost everything that has been in that reserve, requesting the $12,000 on the budget to be allocated to that line. Other than that, there is no difference. On the debt service, we have a decrease of we have a 50% decrease. As last year we had 1.5 million. That was including $426,000 of retirement of the bond. This year we are down to 788,000. That's almost a 50% decrease year over year. As far as the real property taxes, there is no difference for a fifth year in a row. There's the same amount, 7,305,677. The amount of interest and penalty, however, has decreased. The reason for it is per state legislators, now villages have more time to collect the taxes. And as we expand the time to collect taxes, there will be less interest and penalty added. Therefore, the amount of interest and penalty have decreased from 30,000 to 20,000. Almost every other item on this list is the same, except for the use of money at the bottom of the page, and that is because they keep reducing our rate. We are at 35 basis points as of now. The rental for the parking lot, we did very well in year ended 5/31/2020. We're collecting 18,000 from one of the parking lots, another 3,000 per month from the other one. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the use of the parking lot has gone down. There's only $54,000 for the parking lot has been allocated, and $40,000 of interest. As far as the licenses, there is no more taxi in the village. The last estate taxi cab on Steamboat Road just closed, and we sold the property. Therefore, the $3,000, as you could see on the third line, has been reduced to only $100, as well as the tenant registration has gone down. So to become more realistic number for the revenue, that has decreased from 30,000 to 25,000. Under the fees and forfeitures, we have the same issue of being more realistic with the numbers. As you know, in the past year, it was COVID. The year ended 5/31/2020. We had a $346,000 income for that. Budgeted amount for 2021 was 420,000. To be more realistic for the year 21/22, the budget has been adjusted to show $380,000 of income in that department. Other than that, everything else is the same. Appropriated fund balance, we had budgeted last year over $1 million. However, this year, the appropriated fund balance will be less than half. Well, not less than half, but close to half of what was last year at 546. We have an assigned fund balance from the sewer department, sewer bonds that we had and closed in 2013. There's only 2 years left on that bond. The money is already there. The funds are there. That's for 35,000. And the assignment of $2 million for construction of the new village hall, at least to start the construction of the new village hall, is allocated to a fund balances that we have had. Just allow me to just for one moment, I'll run through the metrics. As I mentioned, there's no changes on the tax levy. There's no increase on that. The taxable value has increased for the homestead by 5.2 million. These are the new constructions, as well as all the improvement to the houses. And for the non-homestead, it has increased by 1.7. The total value increase throughout the village is $7 million. The average homeowners this year was 946,781. Next year, it is 945,909. The reason for a decrease is because base proportions for the first time in the past few years have actually shifted from homestead to non-homestead. Overall, on average, the resident should see about $8 decrease on their tax bills. However, again, that is if there was no improvement or the house was a new construction, they will see a different tax increase. For everyone else, everything else given being equal, there should be a decrease on everybody's tax bill actually. On the non-homestead, however, as I mentioned, the value has risen from 1,391,121 to the average of 1,427,795, and there should be an increase of on average on $121, which is beyond nominal. As far as the second here, okay. The total appropriations would be 11,672,906. The estimated non-tax revenue will be 1.7 million. We have an assigned fund balance from the retirement of the sewer debt for 39,000. And the unrestricted fund balance assigned that is budgeted would be 2.5 million. That will leave the tax levy the same as prior years. The allocation of the base proportions have shifted, as I just mentioned. The homestead value, the homestead class is now at 87.36, and the non-homestead has risen to 12.635. You could see the tax rates at the bottom. These are per thousand. So if you have about a house of $1 million divided by 1,000, that would be 1,000 times 2.56. So you could see your taxes to be $2,564. We are expecting to get a pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes from PSEG for $50,878. Avalon should give us $44,673. I'm just going to run through this really fast.
I'm sorry, quickly on the PSEG, the 50,000 is based on the savings, or is it a different pilot that they pay?
No, this is, so they have assets in the village, which is their poles in the village, and they have to pay, I'm sorry?
That's what they're paying. We did not go and discuss with them the decrease in the amount of energy because we're not using the lights at 100%.
No, but that is on my schedule to discuss with them
Okay.
at some point this year.
Thanks.
This is a pie chart that you have in front of you for the general fund and for the appropriations and the revenue. 35% of the appropriations are allocated to the general government and support, 14% to the fire and ambulance. Now, in comparison to last year, obviously, because of the $2 million that is allocated to start off a construction for a new village hall, there is an increase. Regarding the fire and ambulance, there is a 1.24% increase from last year. Building department and public safety actually would go down by 5.8% from last year. The streets administration, as well as the DPW, this will not include the sanitation, has gone up by 3.25%. There's no difference, there's an economic assistant, environment and sanitation, there's a decrease of 2%, and employee benefit has a increase of 1.23%. And the debt service, as I mentioned, there is a decrease of 47% overall. Regarding the revenue, as we mentioned a few times, there's no different in the property taxes in total from last year. Because of the other taxes that include some pilots, that has increased by 23%. Fees, fines, and other miscellaneous have decreased this year over last year. Interest and rent as well have decreased, unfortunately, because of the reasons that they mentioned. And appropriated reserve has increased to compensate for the $2 million that is put aside for the building of the new village hall. Now, this is if we go based on the $2 million increase in the budget for the start of the construction in the village hall, as well as the $2 million in the appropriated reserve at the bottom of the page. If you take those two numbers out, the budget actually, the appropriation actually decreased from last year by 7%. The amount of the budget last year was $10,280,000. This year, if you take out the $2 million, it will actually decrease to $9,672,000, which is over 6% decrease year over year. So just give me one moment. I will move this. Regarding the estimated fund balances, we have the fund balances unaudited number at the end of the fiscal year 2019 at $6 million. We had an operating expense of $9 million and operating revenue of $10 million. We had an unaudited surplus of over $1 million. That will put the fund balances at 5/31/2020 at $7 million. For projected result for the fiscal year ending in 5/31/2021, the projected result is at the deficit of $251,000. But again, that is not really a deficit we already had budgeted $1 million of fund balance. So in fact, this is less use of a fund balance by $750,000. The projected fund balance at the end of this fiscal year should be $5.8 million. At the end of the following year, if everything goes well and we start the construction and we have the $2 million put in the capital, we will have the fund balance of 3 million point eight, and $500,000 that is allocated to a regular operation of the village. So that will put the fund balance at the end of the following year projected at 3.3 million. This is the capital budget for a 3-year plan that was presented by Mr. Massaro. As you could see, in the following year, there is a proposed to purchase a pickup truck, as well as a sweeper, as well as a skid steer with a miller, and as well as tentative repavement and road reconstruction for the roads as mentioned. Mr. Massaro also have asked to put this for the construction of a catch basin from Duxbury to Chadwick at Baker Hill Road. Any other equipment from all other departments should total less than $20,000. This is the estimated reserve funds balances as of end of 2/29. There's a typo there. I apologize. It should say 2/28, not 2/29. February was 28 days in 2021. This is the debt service fund schedule that we have. The total would be, the total that we have to pay this year is $1,054,000. However, we have unused proceeds from the capital, from the bonds that we took out back in 2018. So $260,000 will be paid from that, and the $39,000 will be paid from the assigned sewer bond that we have had already. The direct impact would be $748,000 on the general fund, which again, it is almost 50% less than prior years. This is a schedule of the debt that we have had. As you could see, the rates are extremely low. Most of them are at 2. Therefore, the board decided not to retire any of the bonds, outstanding bonds. This schedule shows you the exemption impact report that it has on the village. Currently, if we take the entire village, all the valuation, all the assessment, it should be, as you could see on the total assessed value on top of the page, it's $3.33 billion. $610,000 of this is exempt amount. As you could see on the schedule, school district is the largest exempt entity in the village. As you could see, they have more than 10% of all the exemptions goes to them, 10% from the total budget. That means if the school district would have been taxed, there would be an extra 10% revenue to the village. However, because of them, we do not have that 10% in the budget. So I just go back here. I forgot to mention that the village is empowered to contract indebtedness of $184 million. We have a $6.3 million outstanding. Village is allowed by law to borrow another $177 million if the needs arises. there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Abraham. That was very in-depth presentation. I thought it's going to be a summary, but I think it was very thorough, and I think everyone can see that we're doing great fiscally. Thank you for the presentation. I think it was very well done.
Great job.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public?
David, I see your hands up. Just again, state your name and address for the record, please.
David Lenziger, 15 Beach Road. Yeah,
Thank you.
Mr. Treasurer, that was a good presentation. And I also appreciate that some, but not all of the material you put up last week. So number one, the $2 million, do you propose that the village will sell bonds valued at $2 million to help pay for Village Hall?
This came up during the budget meetings with the board. The simple answer is when we have $7 million in surplus in the fund balance, there is no need at this moment to go out and get a bond at this moment. The board is open to the idea. As of now, as I just mentioned, there is $7 million in the reserve fund balances that can be used as of now to start the construction. If the needs be, it will be reevaluated next year.
Good. And then another question is, as far as, again, for the construction, I've previously asked about the cost of digitizing and preparing the records so that if and when you move, that can all come. Is that also being considered?
That is allocated in a different line in the budget. It is not part of the construction of the new Village Hall. Rather, it is separately budgeted in the budget.
All right. And then another question is, at the beginning, but then there was no more elaboration, but I had noticed it. There was proposal to increase the salaries of the elected officials. Can you tell me what the proposed increases were?
So there has been no increase for the past 11 years. 11 years ago, I went back and checked all the budget that we had. The salaries were increased by 100% 11 years ago. My proposal was to increase them by 50%. However, as I mentioned, I'm getting a lot of pushback from elected officials as of this moment.
So therefore, again, I mean, so does that mean that the elected official salaries will remain at the current rate?
Well, this is a tentative budget that I have proposed for increase. When the board discusses it, and if they decide not to take it, then that is correct. At the end, and the following meeting, either it will be removed, which is, or it will remain the same. What I mean is, either it's going to remain the same as it is now, or it will be increased. As of now, again, as I mentioned, a lot of pushback from some of the elected officials.
All right, and then another question: you've previously given me the amounts that were in the various reserve funds at the end of calendar 2020. I read in the papers that in the current budget, in the current session of the legislature, there was discussion of changing around the public benefit monies, although I think the intention is that might be more for setting up banks or something like that. But is it your understanding that there might be some greater flexibility in using some of the public benefit funds like the park fund and so on?
I am not familiar with that. I have to get back to you regarding that. One thing I want to mention, I forgot to mention, the COVID Act that was passed about a month ago by the Congress, or was about a month and a half ago, it allocates a lot of fund to local governments. I want to mention that majority of that money that will come down the pipe will go to school and educational institutions. There is money that will be coming to the villages, including our village, by next 3 years. However, New York Conference of Mayors, as well as the New York State Comptroller's Office, have strongly suggesting that we should be, none of the budgets that are prepared should include any amount that we anticipate to receive. So if you don't see the number budgeted as a revenue, as a state or the federal help, federal aid, that the reason is they are advocating for not putting it on the budget yet, because the numbers are not finalized, and the timing of it as well. It will be sometime within the next 3 years. So that's why that numbers is not included in on the budget.
Okay, well, people with long memories remember when the city of New York had something called revenue anticipation notes. So I'm very happy we don't have that here. Those are my questions for right now, although I may have some more. But if others have questions, thank you for answering me.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Anybody else has a question, please unmute, state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, hearing none, we move on.
I just want to, just for the last time, I want to mention, even though there is a $2 million and you could see the budget, there's an increase from 10 million to 11 million. Again, that does not mean the taxes in the village will go up. The amount of the levy will remain the same as I just mentioned. In fact, you could see a few dollars decrease in the amount of taxes unless the property that you live in, it was newly constructed or major renovation was done to it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have to move.
Mayor, if that concludes public comment for this evening. Do you wish to move to close the public hearing or to move it over and continue it at the next board meeting?
I think we can move to close the public hearing.
Very good, sir. Is there a motion to close the public hearing on the budget?
I'll move it.
Moved and seconded?
Second.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous.
Any opposed or abstentions? Mayor, I believe it is unanimous to close the public hearing.
Yes. Okay, excellent.
And we can go back to the old business now. We have 2 items under old business, followed by minutes and abstract.
Mayor, the first item under old business is 777 Middle Neck Road, which has been before this board for site plan, architectural, and facade review. The board may recall that the hearing on the site plan was closed, subject to the applicants having the opportunity to supplement the record with visual representations of the 4 sides of the proposed structure. I'm advised that the applicant is on the line and is representing that such renderings have been provided to the building department and hopefully circulated to the board members. So it would appear that if that is the case, that the applicant has met the condition that was sought by the board. Is the board satisfied with the renderings that have been provided?
Can you please, this is 777. Okay.
I didn't see. Oh, was that it?
No, just bring the rendering, please.
There we go.
Could you show the previous presentation from last week?
Yeah, I believe what they presented this.
Okay, I mean, this looks maybe the same, but to me, it looks extremely different than what we're looking at now. But let's look at what the new rendering is.
That doesn't look like the same building at all.
I think from last meeting was 2-dimensional and this is 3-dimensional.
3-dimensional, right.
So, but I appreciate that we now have something 3-dimensional to really get an appreciation of this building.
Can you go to the next picture, Abraham?
This is it. Let me just go back one slide. This one is a southwest view. This is as if you're standing across the street from the property on Middle Neck Road. This one is you're standing again on the Middle Neck Road, however, closer to Steamboat Road, let's say at the corner of Steamboat. And this one is, as you know, adjacent to this property, there is the parking lot number 2 that we spoke about earlier tonight. This is the view if you stand at the end of the parking lot number 2 and look through the southeast view of the building.
That's almost by DPW.
That is correct. If you stand here, your back is to the DPW, correct?
Can you go back to the materials for a quick second? Okay. Can you go back to the rendering?
This to me looks very different from the drawings we saw in last meeting.
Does the board wish to question the applicant's counsel, who I believe is on the call?
It looks more like a business office rather than residential.
Very commercial looking. It doesn't
Yeah,
look
very.
in the personality of the block. It doesn't have a warm feeling, really. It could be a library. It could be an
Yeah,
office.
it looks very different from what I imagined from last meeting. It doesn't look like an actual resident. It looks again like an office or warehouse or something that's a commercial rather than residential.
I mean, it's capping the block, which is a very homey looking block, and it just doesn't seem like it fits in.
If I can ask Brian Newman, the architect, to respond with respect to these comments.
Brian Newman, Newman Design. So what we have here is the rendering. Essentially, you're on Middle Neck Road, looking at Gootile on the left-hand side, looking towards the south. The architecture hasn't significantly changed from last time. Quite honestly, we've developed the 3-dimensional renderings as requested. The materials here, you have the limestone accent around the corner elements here. The main area of the building is the stucco. And then at the spandrels, the wood look, that Trespa material sort of highlights and warms the facade as well, along with the black aluminum frames. So essentially what we've done here is taken that previous design. We've created three-dimensional perspective views to make sure we've rendered all 4 facades. We've taken that architecture and wrapped it around all the corners or all the facades of the building. The limestone you can see is true limestone. It's a limestone veneer, so it's an actual limestone material to touch. And that's the majority of the facade that you will be seeing along Middle Neck Road and even around Gutile. The stucco material is that material or that facade, if you will, that surface that's a little bit further back. And then that Trespa material is that dark wood. I don't know if you want to see some other sides, we can switch views. Just a reminder, this is an artist interpretation of some of these materials. We do have the other slide as you were looking at a moment ago with the digital photos, but the physical samples are in the village for you actually to touch, feel, and get a true understanding of the texture and the colors of those. So again, this is Middle Neck Road now looking sort of to the northeast, and then you on the right hand side have the facade that's further south, and that would be adjacent to the DPW site. And you can see we've rotated, well, we've wrapped this.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Which one do you want to see?
This is fine right now.
Okay, sorry.
So on the right-hand side, you can see that we've wrapped that limestone material around the corner, and then we further introduce it again, sort of lack of a technical, being technically accurate, the center of that facade, and then you can see it further on the right-hand side there, all the way in the
Brian, if I could just interrupt you one moment, because there may be some confusion. If we put the cursor on the face of the building, could you identify the materials that we're seeing there? We see this lighter material at the corner. We see a little darker material in the center where there's the indent, and then we see the brown or wood material. Could you identify what type of material is going on in the different locations?
Sure. Can you see my cursor at this point?
No.
No? Okay.
Do you want to share your screen?
Sure, I could do that. Give me one moment. You can see my cursor now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot I wasn't sharing the screen. So to Paul's point, the limestone is the lighter material, and that lighter material is this framework that you see here wraps the corner. Again, around here, the majority of the facade, and this corner over here. So it really is the majority.
This is true limestone. This is not a synthetic product. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's true limestone. So again, on Middle Neck, you could see we've wrapped it all the way around the corner here. So this entire element is essentially probably 90% limestone with just this additional piece back in here on that second surface beyond being stucco. And then you have these accent panels in here as the Trespa. You can also see down Gutile, this wing over here is treated the same way, majority of it being limestone. As it wraps into the courtyard, it wraps down Gutile. And then again, on the farthest east corner, which now you can see as if you were standing in the DPW parking lot and you're looking sort of towards the northwest, Gutile would be over here to the right. You can see that element again wraps now on the east facade. And similarly, on the rear or the south facade, we've wrapped it along the east. So there is a large amount of limestone on the actual facade. This is what I'm mentioning before, the center, if you will, of that south facade.
And Brian, where you just had your cursor, you have a balcony there?
So we have a few recessed balconies. If I go back to Middle Neck, we have the center of Middle Neck. We have two on the south side, which is the DPW side. And we made sure not to provide any on the east facade by the single family residence. There's also in the courtyard, which, but that's an internal, doesn't really affect anyone.
Could you just go on the Middle Neck Road one more time? I had a question on the first, no, on the other one. Yeah. So the corner of Gootile and Middle Neck Road, on the first floor, I see a wraparound glass windows. What's there? Is that the lobby?
So if I'll just bring up the floor plan. So right in there, sorry, first floor plan. That is an amenity space to the building, like a lounge, essentially. So your lobby's here, and this is like a recreation room for the residents. This is the corner you were just referring to.
Right. Could you go back to the rendering, please? Well, I tell you, I think it's a beautiful design. I don't know if I like stucco anywhere. I generally, personally, I don't like stucco. I don't like stucco on Middle Neck Road for sure. I believe that we have said that. I like the warm look of the wood. I think it's an interesting look. My personal thing is, I believe there's too much glass and it's may not be within the character of the village. Do I like the design? Yes. Do I think it may be a little bit too modern for that location? Maybe. But I think, you know, I'm looking at it and it looks, maybe this is what we're not used to as far as design for Middle Neck Road. And I would say it looks less residential and more industrial, or can't point my finger exactly what, but it's an interesting look. It definitely is an interesting look.
I did want to point out also in the recess areas of these balconies, you can see on the wall in here and then up on the soffit or the ceiling area, that is that warmer Trespa wood material in there. So
Right.
that occurs on all those elements as well.
Is this kind of a brutalist kind of a design?
I wouldn't call it brutalist, no.
I'm not saying, I mean, there are elements of this that I like. I see the issue with it being too modern for many people's taste. I don't think that anybody who lives in a residential block would be happy with almost any design of any building. This is on Middle Neck Road, which is a commercial strip. So,
I also think the rendering can only go so far with telling the true story of the materials themselves. I do think they're a lot more appealing, softer to the eye when you actually see the physical samples that are available at the village. So I'd certainly ask people to take a look at that as well, or the board members.
Brian, is this a drive-it or is this real stucco?
Yeah, this is drive it. Yeah. Again, it's very minimal, right? It's just some little few areas on that second surface. Here's
is,
another digital photo of the actual samples, just to, refresh. These are the digital photos, so it's a little bit more representative of the materials. There's a little bit more character on the limestone, and the stucco itself has a little bit more texture that maybe that's not coming across in the three-dimensional images.
Brian, do you have the 2D, just so that the comparison could be shown? I would say, to me, it looks the same, so I'm not quite sure why it looks different, other than one being 2D, one being 3D.
Right. When you look at it, obviously the lines, everything looks almost the same. The color is not the same. It's just a different look. I think it makes a huge difference looking at it at 3D versus this view. You're right. There's not so much of a difference. It's just the glass that is all the way on the bottom. And I'm assuming
I think the two glassed areas are the lobby entrance and the
Amenities area,
the
recreation.
first floor lounge.
Yeah. Really just that one corner. This is the corner that wraps, right? That you're looking at right here.
And that's the corner which is the furthest corner away from all the residents and opposite the empty cleaners.
Okay.
With respect to that aspect that apparently there seems to be some concern, Brian, is there a way of quote unquote softening those areas either with material or colors on the stuccoed portions?
Yeah, absolutely. Stucco comes in thousands of colors that can, that certainly can be adjusted. We can certainly do that. We could add some landscaping, maybe some vertical landscaping to soften this area here if we want, maybe to block a little bit of the glass that might be concerning, maybe some small ornamental trees or something like that, just to soften the curb appeal there as well. We could certainly eliminate a little bit of the glazing, add some of more of the wood in the Trespa look in there. Just if that one particular glass corner is a little too much glass, those are all easily attainable, achievable.
Anybody else from the member of the board wants to opine, or we should just open it to the public?
Well, I think
Mayor, the board certainly has the authority to reopen it to the public if it chooses.
We closed this before? Did we close it? I don't remember if we closed this one.
Yeah, you did close the hearing, subject only to the receipt of the renderings and the materials.
Yeah, I don't see any comments. The comments.
comments in the chat.
Does the board wish a brief advice of counsel with respect to the criteria for architectural and facade review?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Abraham, can you arrange?
Abraham, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. We're trying something new tonight. We are created a breakout rooms. So we're going to open the breakout rooms, and you could, you have been, I believe, okay. You have to,